Hey, welcome to Actual Spinster. My name is Anna Marie and today I'm going to go through some the next modernist classics that are on my TBR. I'm not going to define what modernism is. I'm also sort of using it as a bit of a catch-all in this video for early 20th century novels until like the 1930s. Some of these definitely would be considered modernist and some of them perhaps not, but I think an argument probably could be made for all of them. I've spoken about modernism on my channel before, so if you are interested in watching any other videos, I think I did make a playlist of them all, so I'll link that somewhere. But yeah, let's get into it. So the first book is After the Death of Don Juan by Sylvia Townsend Warner. This is from the 1930s and is about some of her experiences in the Spanish Civil War, or reflecting on or looking at it. But in a fictional context, because this is set in the 18th century. Oh, there's a bookmark in this. So there's this one. I obviously am a big fan of Sylvia Townsend Warner, so I'm excited to get to that. I also have Dangerous Ages by Rose Macaulay, which was published in the 1920s. This is about a 30-year-old woman, or a woman in her 30s, and also about basically a set of daughters and mothers, I think, but it just looks interesting. Yeah, just looking at several generations of women within the same family and the various dangers that they faced at different ages. Then we have Blood in the Mist by Hope Marlies. This is a fantasy novel, and I can't remember if it's to do with fruit, but it's definitely to do with a place that is near the borderland between fairyland and non-fairyland. It looks a little mysterious, very fantastical, very beautiful. And Hope Marlies was a poet, so I don't think that she wrote other books, other novels or things like that, but she might have done. But this is definitely the most famous of her prose non-poem works. Yeah. Okay, then I also have this, which isn't sort of a novel, but I would include it as a modernist book, even if it's not sort of as self-consciously modernist as a pulled together novel or something like that, or even a short story, because this is Catherine Mansfield's journal, which, let's see when it was originally published. I think it was published, yeah, it was published in 1927. Catherine Mansfield died pretty young. She was really ill. I think she died from TB, but I might be wrong. And yeah, I've had this for ages, and I've sort of been eyeing it, and occasionally I've been oh, I really want to read that, but I've been reading many other things at the time or whatever, and I think it will be intense. I did see somebody review it. I think it was maybe some random American, Dorothy Parker or something, but circulated a review of it, a quote from a review of it circulating a couple of years ago, which stayed with me in terms of thinking about the ethicalness of this. I think I will still read it. It goes from the early 1900s, I think. It starts in 1910 and ends in 1922. So yeah, there's that. Then we're sort of getting to the things that I got most recently. So I have Incel by Mina Loy, which is kind of funny to say because it's not that kind of incel. Which is, actually I didn't know that she had written a novel until I saw on Bert and Chan's channel, for story time. I think it was Bird had this novel, and that made me really interested because Mina Loy is also a bit like Hope Marlies, a poet, or at least known for being a poet. And so yeah, I've read a collection of her poetry called The Lost Luna Baedeker. I read that a long time ago though, so it would be nice to reread it. But so that it really intrigued me because I never ever heard that she'd written a novel. I am a big fan of novels, even if I also have some communist qualms about them, shall we say. This says the only novel by surrealist master Mina Loy. It's about an impossible friendship amid the glamorous artistic bohemia of 1930s Paris. So when was it published? I think it looks like it was published in the 2010s, but it was not written then, but there's an afterword that is copyrighted at 1991, and I know Mina Loy died in 1966, so she obviously must have written it before. I don't know exactly when it was published because it doesn't say when it was first published. It just says first Melville House printing, which isn't the same. Normally it says first published in, but anyway, very intriguing. Then I have this little tiny book, which is a collection of poems and stories of women of the Harlem Renaissance. Can you see that? Can you see it? edited by Marissa Constantinou. Basically, one of the reasons why I finally got this, I mean, it's been on my radar for a while because obviously always interested in reading more of the Harlem Renaissance, especially from women. But what really tipped me over the edge in actually picking it up is that apparently there's some short stories by Nella Larson in this, and I have read Quicksand and Passing, and I loved, well, yeah, I love Passing a lot, and I enjoyed Quicksand. I thought it was good, you know. So I'm definitely like intrigued to read more of her work, and I heard there were some short stories in here by her which I didn't know existed. I thought that we only had Quicksand and Passing from her. Yeah, and you know, there's obviously lots of other people in here. I really do not, one of the reasons I didn't get this until I was really prompted to is because I really dislike the whole like what is it called, every Macmillan Collector's Library like way that they publish. I don't really like this colour, even if I think on the like Penguin Modern Classics I think that they are kind of the same or similar colours, but this one just looks worse. I really don't like all of the foiling. I especially don't like, I find this when there's like, yeah, gold edges, sprayed edges on a book, I find that honestly not something I like very much, especially when it's like, I don't know, it's just weird. But I do like the end pages at least. It's also just like, it's too small. Like I wish it was just like a slightly larger, slightly thinner book, it would be better. But anyway, I don't know, like am I the only one? Like I really just dislike how these are published, I guess. Anyway, let's see. So it also has Gwendolyn B. Bennett, Alice Dunbar Nelson, Eloise Bibb Thompson, Layla Amos Pendleton, Georgia Douglas Johnson, Clara Ann Thompson, Jessie Fawcett, whose novel there is Confusion, is on my TBR, but it's quite hard to find. Carrie Williams Clifford, Olivia Ward Bushbanks, Angelina Weld Grimke, who's written about actually in the Fury Archives by Juno Jill Richards, which is interesting in terms of kind of like black maternity and like anti-reproductive politics, that kind of thing. Gertrude Mossel and Marita Bonner. So yeah, looking forward to getting into those. Let me know if you've read any of these, if you know I should prioritise one or the other. I actually did have some plans to do like a reading vlog where I read a bunch of the British Library Women Writers series that have been published, but I was doing some research for it, and as far as I can tell, I might be wrong, but if I am wrong, I think it's still going to be like a minuscule percentage. But basically I don't think that they have published any women of colour in the series so far, and I think there's probably like what, 10, 12 books out of it so far. And you know, it's from the 1900s into the, like, I think they have one from the 1970s, so I feel like during the time that, you know, there's more immigration from like the Caribbean, there's obviously going to be much more like black British writing or black women writing in Britain. And I know, you know, there's like people from the 1930s who were producing and performing like radio plays, which, you know, you could publish like this. That would be really cool. So yeah, very disappointing, and I won't be doing that vlog. But it's also, what I find so insidious is like the fact that it's a bit like with Persephone books too. I have quite a lot of issues with it too, even if I also, you know, like some of what they publish. But basically like how like framing yourself as a press or as a publishing enterprise that uncovers forgotten voices and then publishing, you know, a bunch of white women is so, yeah, insidious. It acts as if the most forgotten figure in the literary publishing landscape is a white woman, most of whom are all like middle class or upper class, which again is just also sort of like, really? So yeah, anyway. Oh, I do also have another book by HD on my sort of, I haven't got it yet, but I would really, I'm on the lookout for it, which is Paint It Today. So that's also sort of on this TBR, but like a bit more nebulously. But yeah, so those are 6 modernist books hopefully coming up next on my reading priorities. Yeah, let me know your thoughts, and I hope you're having a nice day when you see this. Yeah, I'll see you, what is it I say? I'll see you when I see you. Bye. Was that right? Bye.